Hi, everybody, and welcome back to live streaming Strumstick lessons. And I actually forgot to put this notice up on the front page of this lesson, but the Thursday of Christmas Eve and the Thursday of New Year's Eve, we will not be having the live streaming lessons. But I will, of course, this lesson and next week there will be a lesson. But then Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve there will not be, and that is marked on the page on the website where you get the link to the streaming lessons. And of course, you can always if you can't get enough Strumstick, you can always review one of the other lessons on the videos on that Thursday night if you want to sort of keep your tradition going. But I have a feeling that many people will be otherwise engaged on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve one way or another anyway, even if it's a Zoom meeting with those that you are near and dear to. So with all that said, we're going to work on another holiday tune. We're going to work on Jingle Bells, and I have a particular arrangement for Jingle Bells that I call Dueling Jingle Bells, because it sort of it snares a few quotes from dueling banjos at the beginning. And so since I have that screen up, I'm going to show you just how the beginning starts, and we'll just run through that once, and then we'll go through into the body of the song. But here is how this thing starts, and I don't have two instruments, so I'm using the high string for the banjo and the low string on the Strumstick for the guitar echo part. So that's the little Dueling Jingle Bells intro part, and then we'll get into the body of the song. And just the only things I'll say of it is, of course, dueling banjos. So I took pretty close, and then echoed Jingle Bells. And then of course dueling banjos goes on to other melody phrases, and we're just doing the same little trick with a couple of phrases from the Jingle Bell chorus. So that's pretty self-explanatory, and the only thing I'll say about it style-wise is play it very freely and melodramatically. So rather than going and in the exact same rhythm, kind of play each one for all it's worth. And then doing the little cut-offs after each of those notes. So instead of going jing, 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 it's going jing, jing, jingle bell, bop, 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 instead of ba, ba, ba. So extra note, and then that's the lead in, the little bluegrass lead in there. And we're going to be working kind of in a bluegrass idiom here. So if you were playing the chords on it, you could emulate the mandolin at that point, going. So let's get into the melody for the body of the song. Now the song really starts with the chorus. So I'm going to go to page 2 because I wrote it out with the verse first and then the chorus. So here we have Dueling Jingle Bells Part 2. Oh, what fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle. So we're going to start right here at the chorus, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, where it comes off the end of the verse. Then we'll go back, we'll pick up the verse. Okay, so again, I have the chords written in, for the D Strumstick are in black, and then the chords that are with the faint gray letters are the chords for the G Strumstick on this. So if we were just doing the chords, but now we're doing the D Strumstick here, so we'll be looking at the dark black letters above. So it's D, jingle bells, jingle bells. Now you don't have to do that chuck mandolin thing there, but that's where you would start if you were going to do that mandolin style. So we could just say, jingle bells, jingle bells. Bum da da bum da da bum da da bum is not a bad key rhythm for it. So jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. So this is the E, the bar at the first fret, and then A this way, or I'll often do it this way. A, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh, or one-horse open sleigh. You could use this A up here for the one on the last line. So that's the basic chords, and then the melody, night, oh, oh, and then on a second fret, and I'm starting right up here. Jingle bells, jing. It's just 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. So let me say it in order there with the words. Let's take it from the G on Oh, What Fun It Is to Ride. G, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 4, and you could slide 1, 4. Now, one little trick with the slide, normally we'll do in a slide like over the space of a half beat. 1 and. In this case, we're using it as a lead-in, and if you wait all the way time-wise to the 4, sleigh, one horse open sleigh, bum, bum, that's a little long, sleigh. So rather than waiting all the way to the end for sleigh, you could play the 1 again, sleigh, and make it a zoom up to the 4, instead of going. The longer you wait after you pluck the string, the fainter your slide note is going to be. Okay, so the sooner you do it. So you could also simply play the 1 and rush up to the 4, even though it's coming in a little earlier than the beat. One horse open sleigh. It's kind of like it's anticipating there. The last thing you could do is go. Do the slide immediately. Sleigh, 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 sleigh. So there's a couple variations there. And then back to the beginning, it just repeats here. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. Now I'm fingering the G chord here. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2. You could just play the note, but it's nice to get a little chord in there. On a one-horse open sleigh, and that would be on an A chord, so you could finger that bar A. One horse open sleigh. Now you could also go. There we go. This note here is the same as that. So we have. instead of going a couple fingering variations possible in there. All right, so playing the melody and strumming. Finger the E, whereas the E comes in one horse. To fill out the A chord. One horse open. If I do it that way, and if I do it this way, one horse open, one horse open, or one horse open, and just let it be that open chord. One horse open, sleigh, and it resolves on the D chord. All right, so that's just, again, that's kind of like the basic. Now, it sounds really pretty as a melody all by itself. Usually Jingle Bells is done fast, but you could slow it down a little and, you know, little slides. And what I'm doing there is I'm adding just a hint of rhythm by playing some extra notes like I was strumming the strings, but I'm only picking the single string, the first string. So it's jingle bells, jingle all the way. Or jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride. So instead of, oh, what fun it is to ride, I'm going, oh, what a fun it is. Oh, what a fun it is to ride. As though there were extra syllables there. On a one-horse open sleigh. There's that same slide. Then jingle bells, jingle, hammer on, jingle, oh, hammer on, way, hammer on. Oh, what fun, hammer on it is to ride. Pull off is to ride. So to do a hammer on, you have to hold a note and hammer on the note above it. If you do a pull off, you have to finger not just the note you're on, but the note you're going to, so that they're both in place to do the pull off. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one horse. Nice little slide there. Oh, and nice slide. And sleigh. And again, if you're playing a little slower, there's a little more space. You know, with single notes, there's a little more space to hear the slides and the hammer-ons. So. Anything you do on the first string. That's where the A goes. E, 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 A. E, 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 A. Anytime you're doing, you could go. Remember the mini chords, this little fingering, one fret apart, first string, second string. So there's a fast way, there's a slow way, and you could probably do that with some finger picking too. What I did there is I fingered the notes on time, but I didn't necessarily play them at the right time because with the finger picking, alternating thumb, first finger, thumb on the middle string, first finger, thumb, finger. Sometimes the note on that first string doesn't get played until maybe a half beat later than you want, or even longer. So I'm just going over and over and going fingering. You can hear some of those notes come in way after the syllable that you would be singing on with, but if you were playing that and singing it, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Great sound, and of course, if you get it up to speed, if you want to do it really fast in a kind of a again a bluegrass tempo, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. And that's the same tempo if you were doing it strumming. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Just with the chords or with the melody. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. And then the punctuation there. Oh, what fun it is to ride, instead of it's one of the ways you can make a melody note that you're fingering as part of a chord stand out as a melody note by punctuating it with the rhythm so it feels punchy and it stands out from the ringing of the chords. Octaves here. Okay, so that's the chorus. Now let's take a look at the verse. Any questions? Whip them onto the chat there. So we've got dash, second string open, dash, 2, 1, 0, 1, second string, and dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh. And where those notes are quick, on a one, that'd be like a down, up, down, on a one-horse open sleigh. And then sleigh is the G chord in the first fret here. Sleigh, or 3, 2, 1, 2. Now this is, if I go 1, 2, if I don't let go of that 1, 1, 2, if I go like this, 1, 2, that's that little fragment of an A chord with the extra D on it. That's kind of a nice sound. And if you fingered the A chord this way, you've got the chord fingered on all three strings plus this melody note right here. Now, with a fingering like that, you can't possibly get close to the fret, so you squeeze a little extra hard here. You can, I'm sorry, I'm dropping that down. I hope all that wasn't. Somebody tell me if that whole sequence I was showing you before was down below the screen, because I was not paying attention to the neck of the strumstick, but to the notes I was playing, because I can do any of that over if it was a problem. That should be better there. Sorry. So we were at in the one horse open sleigh, o'er the the fields we go, or go, laughing all the way, laughing all the way. But you could go laughing all the way. In fact, laughing all the way. With a slide there to articulate it. Bells. So here we are. Bells on bobtail. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. You might finger the whole G chord there, or this G chord. Bright. What fun it is to, what fun it is to laugh and sing, ride and sing a playing. So using the bar there sets you up for third finger at the 5th fret note. So 4, 4, 4, 5, 4. So fun, what fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells. And that's the fingerings for the verse. Now here we could go, again, we could just do the chords and just sing it, you know. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Now, I would automatically, just because this is the way I think, I would do a little forearm mute when I do the verse to sonically distinguish it from the chorus a little bit. So if the chorus, which starts the song, da 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 da. Jingle bell, jingle bell, it is to a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. It is to a one-horse open sleigh, dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. So there I'm doing that mandolin boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck, but I'm muffling the notes just a little bit with this part of my. Can you get that into the camera here? Just this part of my forearm. Get the whole forearm in. There we go. Kind of halfway between wrist and elbow, is touching the strings just in front of the bridge. And so I'm just muffling, boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck, and I'm playing kind of like the bottom string and then all three. So it's like bass drum, 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 bass drum. The other thing I'm doing is I'm cutting those off a little bit, so I'm going. Now I'm not cutting it off with my right hand. That's just to show you where it happens. It's. Let me kill the any reverb that's on this too. See, the bottom string is going to keep ringing, so it's really. That's the sound you're trying to get. Wah, instead of wah. So instead of boom, ring, it's boom, cut, boom. And because you're doing this little forearm muffle here, that bass note doesn't ring too long. So it has a nice percussive sound. Womp, dump, womp, 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 womp. And you're looking for that, like an oompa feeling there. So if I were going to approach the verse that way, just doing the chords, dash, a little slower here, dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way, bells on bobtail ring, up strum once in a while, making spirits bright, what fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, and if I use the 4th fret A, what fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh. And again, you could work freely with the rhythm if you're leading a group of people singing this. You can like lead them. You know, go. Where's the words here? What fun it is to ride and sing a sleigh. Fun it is, what fun it is to ride and sing a sleigh song tonight. Oh, and if you go like, oh, everybody knows that you're going to hold it there. Jingle bells, jingle bells. So you can use some visual cues if you're leading people on a sing-along with us. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Now, at the second chorus there, you could decide to keep that boom chuck going. Fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. And we've done now we've done the first chorus with some melody to it, and then we did the first verse and the next chorus just with chords. And now here you could start to, if you're just doing a sing-along, just play the chords and let everybody sing. Or if you want to add some melody, just finger the single notes for the melody, but strum all three strings. So you see how that's where that little two fingers, that little baby A chord there, makes a good sound, starting again. And I didn't even finger the A. So that was mostly just the drone notes, with a little bit of chord here, and then here. And you could expand that by actually fingering the chords while you're doing it. So that would give you, at speed, what's the melody there? Oh yeah. So. Cut those off. That's kind of a semi-A chord again to get this note in. And so on. Okay? And now finger picking. So let's say I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and dashing, sorry. So you lose that in between note entirely. Maybe not. I can't tell if I'm changing my pattern to get that note, or if I'm doing the pattern without changing it. Here, let me see. But you get the idea. If you do this 1 and 2 and, So, again, I kind of can't help myself. I'm biasing the picking pattern a little bit to go and get some of those notes. The melody does not fall quite as neatly with the finger picking pattern on this verse as it does with the chorus. The chorus, you're off usually by no more than a half beat, so it just feels like a kind of a little jazzy improv around the note. Now you can, we've talked about this before, you can turn the pattern inside out. Instead of going third string, first string, 3, 1, 2, 1. That's the string numbers, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. You could go 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1. Or you could go 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 for a while, or 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1 for a while, or even shift this first finger over to the second string and go 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. So at its very simplest, this pattern is simply thumb, finger, thumb, finger. So if I did, let's say I started on the second string and then I used the first finger on the first string, you would have thumb 2, thumb 2, thumb 1, finger numbers, thumb 1, thumb 1, thumb 1, thumb 1. Thumb 1's knocking at the door. And you could play, and there it's interesting, a lot, like especially in that last sequence. All the notes come through like echo notes. Slay, slay, link, slay, 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 a, slaying song tonight. Slay a ing song on to night. Slay, slaying song tonight. Slaying song tonight. So the melody comes in as an echo of the actual sung word there. And that's visible because I'm simply doing second string, first string, second string, first string. Now that's not as interesting rhythmically as, but you could throw in a little sequence of that if you want to kind of piece your way through fingering, trying to get more of the melody pulled out by the finger picking. The other thing you could do would be just go and do the chords. Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way, bells on bobtail ring. I'm doing this D here rather than the open D because I'm back to around a D again, so I might as well get a little variation. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. I'm in the bass, so let's go and do the G with the bass note here too. Bright, what fun it is to. Now let's go all the way up to this A. Ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, night, oh. And that's a little jumping around. Night, night, oh. Or night, oh. You don't have to finger this. You could, for the D, you could just do this for the D. And then you don't have a hand move to deal with, just coming off the strings for the D and then back on again. The sleigh, a ride, says to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. You could also be doing the rhythm pattern. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. And just pluck those notes with your finger by itself. Jingle bells, jingle. I'm doing a pinch. Jingle, jingle all the way. That pinch with two fingers at once gives a little rhythm to the bottom, but it could also be jingle bells, jingle all the way. I'm just plucking plucking them with my finger. Oh, what fun it is to, oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. So there what I'm doing is I'm doing a couple beats of the finger picking pattern and then playing a couple notes all by themselves, plucking whichever, whether it's thumb or finger, whichever is closest to the note I need, and then playing a little rhythm pattern again, and then playing a few melody notes. So that's, if we were doing that with a pick, that would be like going dashing through the snow on a one-horse open, dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way, bells and bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells. So you've got all these abilities to, all these options of making variations in how you approach this. And you might just, strum and play the whole song and sing it yourself 10 times in a row. But you might think about, I could play the melody slowly, and then we could, just finger pick and sing the chorus at a medium speed, and then play the verse a little faster, and then maybe work our way up to the chuck, 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 and do a real, bluegrass breakdown kind of thing with it. But this gives you a whole bunch of different options. And as we always do in these lessons, of course, all the sorts of techniques we're talking about with this particular song are applicable in many other songs. They don't have to be just, done with the way to do Jingle Bells, and don't do this anyplace else. We're dealing as much with, concepts to put into any song, anytime, any place. And if you like the way it works, you're the artist. So we are poets. Let's see here. Let's play through the chorus up to speed. Let's take it from. I'll just dive right. I'll just give a couple beats of strumming in. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way, bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells. So that's without any tricks, just doing the chords. No four-arm mute muffling, no boom chuck with cutting off here very much. As soon as you start to add that stuff, dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. By the way, we'll try something with that laughing all the way in a second. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. Fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Or sleighing song tonight. Etc., etc. Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, o'er the fields we go, laughing. So that's laughing all the way. And of course, in the instrumental versions, the third time through, it goes ha 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 ha. You could sort of fake that, or that's just octaves, 4, 3, 2, 1, or you could do 8, 4, 2, or any, 4 notes there. Or if you want to get really weird, the little clown, like the sad trombone. So these half-tone part frets here. Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. It'll get a laugh, I promise. If you do that in a room or on a Zoom, jam, people will giggle, and it's a good giggle. Giggling is good. So that's so there's a whole bunch of stuff to do with Jingle Bells. Now let's go back to the Dueling Jingle Bells intro. And what happens if I lay that over that? Nah, that's a little messy. Let's just do it like that. So cutting off there, jingle bells. When you're going at a slower spacing of notes, the cutoffs become even more dramatic. Da, 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 jingle bells. Jingle bells. Do something a little different on the bass part. Da, da, jingle all the way. Maybe speed up the bass part there. Oh, what fun! Oh, what fun it is! Oh, sorry. Oh, what fun it is to ride. Okay. Now you can go high, low, high, low, high, low, and then we have high, and we don't do the low, and we just go into the run. But you could switch the highs and the lows a little bit. So you could have, here we have the high part comes first, and then the echo line is low, and then the high part and the echo line is low. This verse, you could switch them and do the low part first and the high part second, and then you're already up here for this one, and then you go into the run. So that would be... Then the second phrase... yeah, that was the second, right? Yeah. Now, if you want, when you do this, you can do the echo part there too. It's this, it would just be the same, 2, 2, 4, 4, 3, 1, but done on the bass string, and then go to this run. So that would be, oh, sorry. So if you're an aficionado of dueling banjos and you want to more closely emulate the original, you can figure out how the highs and lows are alternated in the original and come closer to it. I'm just shooting off the top of my head here, doing it high, then low, high, then low. But I felt like the joke is funny for the first 3 times. And some people will get it. Oh, it's dueling. Haha, that's cute. And then a few more people will get, oh, it's Jingle Bells, but it's like dueling. Haha, that's funny. By the time you do that 3rd time through, it's like, yeah, everybody gets it at this point. So let's not push it and do it again. Let's go right to. And never explain why you did it or that you did it. That will ruin any good joke. Is to say, well, you get it. It was dueling banjos, but Jingle Bells. Like the way I introduced it. Don't do that. Just, do your shtick and let it be there. If they don't laugh at it, they didn't get it, or else it wasn't funny. Anyway, so from that intro, if you want, you could go. I anticipated going like, see, when I have, we are right down here now. Jingle bells, jingle bells. I've anticipated going right into the chorus. Jingle bells, jingle bells. If you're in effect leading with the melody, it doesn't do the boom chuck as much, because the idea of the boom chuck is boom chuck. 1, boom, right? So the emphasis is boom and then chuck, whereas the melody to this starts where the boom would be. Jingle bells. It's not jingle bell, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells. So when you do the boom chuck, you're making a backbeat that is emphasis wise, emphasize. What am I trying to say? That the emphasis is on the one beat, and then it goes up to high. So it's chi, but the melody's going chum 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 chum. So you have this with one thing, and this on the other hand. So you get a sort of a three-dimensional. Shing through the jingle bells, jingle all the way. You know, it's the pulse of the melody is there with the words, but it's not there it's a little different on the Strumstick. So if you're going to play the melody on the Strumstick, I would say you can't really roll right into the boom chuck there. So if you're going to the emphasis on the one dun 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 instead of boom ba 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 boom. Okay, so I think if you're going to do this with this, you know, the little bluegrass dueling banjos introduction. This time you can go to the chuck because you're not trying to do the melody. Bells, jingle all the way. And I'm using this fingering for the D because it lets me cut off all three strings. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is! Oh, what fun it is to ride! This G, what fun it is to ride. See, I'm using my pinky, and this one's just coming along for the ride. It's not doing anything. It might help me squeeze with the pinky a little. And you could do the, oh, what fun it is to ride in a wonderful open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride. Oh, what fun it is to ride. Oh, what fun it is to ride. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a wonderful open sleigh. Then go from do another verse as a melody. Okay, that was just the chorus, right? See, another verse, little instrumental. Sing the next chorus. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a wonderful open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a wonderful open sleigh. A day or two ago. Now I'm switching to the right hand mute to make it even quieter. It pulls it back, features the voice when you pull the instrument back. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. Our horse was neat and blank, misfortune seemed his lot. He fell into a drifting bank, and he became upset. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Now here I'm doing the boom chuck, but I'm going boom chugga, boom chugga, boom chugga, boom chugga, boom, boom chugga, boom chugga, boom chugga, instead of boom chuck, with the occasional upstrum. Now I'm pushing that upstrum more. And that's again to give a slightly different rhythm this time through the chorus. And we became upset. Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells. It's like going jing da 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 da. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle. You could do either da 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 da. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Maybe leave that first one out. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. think there's a third verse. You go back to the first one. Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ha, 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 on the meadow lane, making fear its way. The fun is to ride and sing sleighs on the way. Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells. Here's the what I wanted to. Here's the da 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 da. So we're kind of accelerating the rate of the notes each time through that chorus. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. It's almost like a polka rhythm, kind of. If I don't do any cutting off, it's just da 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 da. And if I do the cutting off, jingle bells, sorry, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way, and slowed down. Actually, slow, you can do that fast. That's kind of a weird sentence. If you're doing it slowly, you can do that many cutoffs. But you can't do that many when you're going. I mean, you could physically maybe do it, but it just sounds like mush. So it's. So I'm going. On the left hand, but I'm going da 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 with the right hand. Or just go 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Maybe leave that last hand off. 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, or 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You get the idea. Okay, so there we have the way to build your way through the song. So you've got sort of a definitely going on in each of the sections, and we didn't even get into the finger picking part. Now, if you're playing with other people and you've got your finger picking working at speed, you could be playing. Guitar might be doing the chords, and you're going dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. You could do a little strums with the back of your fingernails in the middle of some of the finger picking. Another thing you could do is, as we suggested at least one other time, I think the lesson we did with the playing in the background is you could record yourself going at a slow tempo, dashing through the snow in one horse, and then play that. Record that on your phone, and then play that as a video, and then play that back and go. The texture that you get with finger picking and strumming, if both instruments can be heard and they're both nice and right in time with each other, it's a wonderful three-dimensional feeling. And if you record it, you can record one part with the strumming and the other part with the finger picking and put them together. But finger picking is not conceptually hard, but it really takes repetition to be able to use it fluidly and in time. Because if a finger goes a little too deep, it gets delayed releasing the string. If it's a little light, it hops off a little early. So there's a certain amount of muscle memory getting your fingers to do that finger picking steadily. But that's kind of covering all the bases for Jingle Bells. So if there are no questions on the chat, and thank you, I'm glad people are enjoying what we're doing here. and you'll have a week to work on this, and then you can work on it the week before Christmas also if you want, if you've got a party song to do. And I'm going to just kind of mess around with this a little bit and play us out, and I'll probably do some things we didn't talk about. But otherwise, I'll look forward to being with you all on next Thursday. And again, there will be no lesson Christmas Eve, the 24th, and no lesson on the 31st, New Year's Eve. And we'll be back again at the beginning of January with our regular lessons. So be safe, be well, enjoy the holidays to the best of your ability, and have fun strumming away. And we'll see you next week.